Medina to Filling Station, and Medina to Barrier are all going to be 2 cedis 50 pesos each. Research?
Okay, so you mean commandos 1 CD 50 pesos? So from research to
yes.
from research to Roman 170, to Lotto kiosk 2 CDs, to School Junction 2 CD 50 pesos, to Adenta station, to the Shell, to Filling, and to SDA all 3 CDs.
Well, so from Commandos to Lotto kiosk is 1 CD 70 pesos. From Commandos to School Junction 2 CDs. Commandos to Adenta station 2 CD 50 pesos, and then to Shell 2 CD 50 pesos, to SDA 2 CDs 50 pesos.
And from Barrier Station to Housing Down, 2 cedis. Now, okay, so these represent some 20% increase in the fares. Now, I wonder, some of you are already in Trotros, probably on these routes. Can you tell us whether these have kicked in? We'd certainly want to know, whichever route you ply, whether increases have kicked in already or not. And this is something that is going to have a significant impact on everything. Okay, because if these are the transport fares for public transport, trotros and so forth, there is no doubt that the transport of goods and service, goods as well, are going to go up. Goods and products, are going to go up.
Well, the challenge with all of this is that the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council, the GPRTU, and the Ministry of Transport are still locked up in meetings, trying to, agree on transport fares. However, you have the Concerned Drivers Union and others who say they are not part of GPRTU, coming out with a 20% increase. I am surprised that the Medina Adenta station, who are supposed to be members of GPRTU, are actually adhering to this. Because so far as GPRTU is concerned, there are no new transport fares. So these guys have actually, the best term is to say they've engaged in an illegality so long, as far as their mother organization, GPRTU, is concerned.
The original plan was to do reviews twice a year, beginning and somewhere in the middle of the year. So you compile and compound all of the factors, including fuel, including spare parts, and all the other things that go into transportation. Then agree that we have to increase it or maintain it at this price, or even reduce it if it's possible. It was because of these recent taxes and the happenings in there that they feared, it's going to compound their current problem. So I even heard that the executive president met the groups, and there was some indication of progress being made there. The difficulty here is that when you do not send a signal that we have all agreed in increasing it by this percentage, some people who are boarding Church Road this morning are going to protest. Would they be justified in protesting? Because they have believed all the years that there's a procedure for increasing these tariffs. And regardless of how we are going to look at this, if it stands, it will affect other groups too. So why won't the rest be able to increase their own? And if it stands, going into the future, the question will be, why can't drivers and some unions, some groups unilaterally decide to increase it, especially when we're expecting more increases in the fuel price coming up in the coming weeks, and the happenings that are going to follow after that.
Yeah.
So we need to either go back to what we used to establish as the standard practice, or immediately decide that we are deregulating that sector too, which I think will be very chaotic. Because, listen, you wake up one morning, you are planned, and I know people who plan to the peswa, how much they are spending.
Of course.
Then you go out there, and virtually everything is on the increase. Just because some drivers agreed that they had to increase it, and there have been conversations about it, immediately some people will protest. And that protestation will lead to some form of problem in cars across the country and many things happening there. We don't need this kind of... And what I think should happen is that GPRT coming down and other groups coming out to say that we have not sanctioned this. We think it should not happen immediately, and they cannot unilaterally do so. Then going forward, we have a clear-cut indication from what is supposed to be the situation. Because, see, we can't hold on for long enough for these people because their factors are compounding already. The things that go into their business are compounding. And you see, these drivers, it's not as if they own the car, so they have to, at the end of the day, present their sales to somebody else, take a part of it for the family and none of that. They are equally feeling the pinch of the current difficulties that people are going through. And perhaps the best way to deal with this is a clear indication from government as to the way forward. And that is what should be compliant. And we've been getting security, making sure that the right tariffs, tariffs, prices are being charged by these drivers. Or else I sense chaos in the making.
I've got to say, I mean, it's a concern for the largest base of Ghanaian citizens, okay, those who depend the most on public transport. And of course, again, it's an example of the tax hitting the poorest, harder than the wealthiest, because the wealthy people have options.
Yeah.
They have options. If indeed it becomes too expensive for them to use a Rolls Royce, they can use the Toyota. They have options. But those who are in the income brackets that depends on public transport, and not just transport of themselves, but of goods and products that they depend on a daily basis,
Or their
they
children to
cannot
school and
avoid
everything.
exactly. They cannot avoid this massive hike, and it's a pity that the drivers seem to be, in this case at least, they seem to be breaking away from what would have been an ordered and orderly process of arriving at these fares. So I am concerned. I'm concerned for my colleagues, for my friends. I may be fortunate enough not to have to come to work by trotro.
Like some of us, okay.
No, when was the last time you took a trotro? I may be fortunate enough not to have to come to work by trotro, but I depend on people who have to come to work by trotro. And when their circumstances change, so do mine. And so, it's something that no Ghanaian can escape. And it's a pity that it's falling into a chaotic arrangement. I certainly hope that these fares don't end up becoming normalized before there's an opportunity for the larger grouping to come to a decision on this.
Well,
But-
according to the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council and the GPRTU, so the challenge is that, the vehicle income tax, according to the budget, there's a waiver of, second quarter, third and fourth quarters. Now, that hasn't kicked in yet, even though that waiver has been given. So they want to, have discussions with the Ghana Revenue Authority and the Ministry of Finance. If that is the case, as stated in the budget, then it means the proposed percentage increase may reduce.
Okay.
So if that doesn't happen, then we'll go for an increased, percentage. So these are some of the issues when it comes to agreeing on a percentage increase. But I agree with you. Now that, the concerned drivers and others have increased fares, it creates a chaotic situation. I do not know whether if going forward we have to think of having a standard fare, or maybe we can throw competition in there. I do not know.
All right, listen, let's bring everyone in on this conversation. Give us a call. How much are you paying? How much were you paying previously? Have you been affected by this 20% rise in fares? We certainly want to know. What are your concerns or worries as these announcements start pouring in? But of course, we've got a few tweets, haven't we?
Yes, so I'm going to start with Rans Tete. He says, I actually did use Trotro today simply because I was off and I actually don't know how much is being charged from Teshi to Tema now. It used to be 3 Ghana cedis. Eugene says, Ibi Matao, aside all this hardship some of the citizens are going through, them one increased Trotro fare. God have mercy. 20% is outrageous. That's according to Roger Kobe. Julia says we'll soon stop patronizing their services, and I don't begrudge them if we are to be having a good and effective system being operated by the central government. These so-called associations wouldn't have been taking us for ransom, but I know we'll definitely get there. The last one I'm reading before we speak to Moses is increasing TNT part of fixing the country? Some of us will start to use foot wagons. No money in the system.
Foot wagons. Moses is in Tema. Good morning, Moses.
Good morning, sir.
So, talk to us.
Yeah, I live at Medina. So we normally take up from Lydia Costa Lorry Station.
Right.
So from yesterday, first we used to pay 7 cedis 50 pesos. Now from yesterday they started taking 9 cedis from us, just for in. Mm-hmm. When you're going back to Medina, the same station will take you 7.5. This morning they did the same thing. We complained bad bitterly in the car, but the drivers were saying that they are cooperative. They are not under GPRA2, they are on their own. Yeah. So even they are expecting GPRA2 to come with more price. And if it comes and there is higher, they are going to increase it. This is what they are telling us, the passengers. So this morning we didn't find it easy at all in the car. You come in with 9 cities, then you go with 7 cities, 50 pesos. The same group.
Moses, what does it mean for you, when you have to spend more money for the same trip to go and do your job or whatever it is that you do to earn a living?
It's very bad. It's very bad. But as a matter of fact, I'm telling them that if it becomes worse, I have to use my car. Then I stop taking the trotro. But it's not the best. We need to think about the future. If we can enjoy today and tomorrow when our children will be suffering, I don't think it's the best.
Thank you.
I don't think it's the best at all. And I'm very, very annoyed. I don't see the reason why they would take 9 cities in and take 7.5. Even telling us that they are going to increase it again. And it seems the drivers are even happy with this. But as a matter of fact, I'm not happy at all. I am not a happy man for this place. So if you people can do something about it, or the government can do something about this situation before it gets out of hands, I'll be very, very happy.
Thank you for sharing with us, Moses. You can call us to 0302 216 541 055 1111 997.
Okay, so let me just continue with some of the tweets that we have. Benjamin Dake says, that's unacceptable. I'm surprised that government is quiet about it. Ebenezer says, I'm more than affected. This one says 20% is absolutely outrageous. If we add all the little things up, it's becoming too much for us.
Kofi is in Tema. Good morning,
Okay.
Kofi.
Yeah, good morning, Koji. How are you?
I'm well, Kofi.
Well, I think that the drivers are justified. They are justified to increase the fares. Anytime you go and buy something in the market, they've increased prices. They've increased everything. School fees have been increased. The private schools have increased their fees. The government increased. Whatever have been increased. So why wouldn't the drivers also increase? I think that once they say automatic fuel adjustment, the same should apply to drivers. They also ought to have their automated system. I don't even understand why they have to go to government, because there's no law like that go to central government so that they would help you increase the fares. No, it should be automatic. Because if you go to government, I think that the GPRTU, because they don't own the land, most of the lands that they operate on belong to the government. And any time there's a change of government, political parties, their foot soldiers go to grab those stations, the lorry stations. That is how come that sometimes they want to talk to the government, which I don't even understand. They ought to increase the fares. Once you increase fuel prices, how will they get money? Now we're all complaining that the vehicles are rickety. If the vehicles are rickety, what will they do to be able to ensure that we have a very good system, like vehicles to use? If the system is hard, it's hard for everybody. So I don't understand why someone will call to blame drivers. It's the drivers to blame. When COVID hit us, fuel prices came down. In the world market, the crude price came down. They never reduced the prices in Ghana. The bulk, whatever storage or whatever, or that Senor Jose's group came telling us that it doesn't work like that. Always they tell us when they reduce the crude, they give all kinds of reasons why they should keep the prices high. And you journalists don't help us. If you ask me, what we are paying for fuel today, I think it's thievery. They are stealing from us. That we have to fight. Because the price came down during COVID, true or false. It came down drastically. Now, they never reduced it. When the world market started going up, then they started increasing again. That is stealing, right? Or could you agree with me?
Actually, I'm happy to entitle you to your opinion. Go ahead.
Yes, well, but what I'm saying, I never heard you guys discuss it. So I want to, if you can please bring a business person to explain to us. Because the crude prices came down during COVID. Google it. It came down drastically because people were not moving. Therefore, the price came down. But in Ghana, they never reduced it. They never. They gave us flimsy excuses. And your business news guys came to just tell us what they are telling us. But no one did any analysis. Today, it's going higher because countries are opening up. Then all we hear is the marketing companies are just increasing it. And even ASAP came telling us that those people are not a cartel and they should be checked. True or false? They should be checked. Because if you don't check them, then they will be duping us. And they are, well, I don't want to use certain words. I'll rest my case here.
Thank you, Kofi. Thanks for calling us. And if you agree with Kofi, give us a call. If you disagree with Kofi, give us a call. We'd like to hear from you either way. 0302 216 541 0244 0244 no 055 1111 997. See, the old numbers can't ever be erased from our minds. John is in Tema as well. John, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm very well, John.
Please, let it be fair. Government has increased the petrol. If you buy petrol in a gallon, that petrol alone can take you to anywhere you were going. If they increase the petrol, all components of vehicle has increased. I mean, the spare parts. They increase the road toll. What are you expecting the drivers to do? Those who think about increase the petrol, why don't you think the law first before they increase the petrol? Please, what are you expecting us commercial developers to do? Even Sprinter, home second, go and ask how much it costs. Home second one. So I don't think the public should attack the government rather than the commercial drivers. Also, if I'm a GPR2 chairman, I'll command my members to park their cars and see what will happen. Taxi, cargo cars, commercial cars, we have to park and see what will happen to Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you very much. John sounds like a commercial driver, giving his perspective there. That's great.
Yes.
055 1111 997 0302 216 541.
Okay, so O'Neill says Trusky fares between Adenta and Medina is pure extortion. We can talk about fuel prices and all, but that lane should be nothing more than 2 Ghana cedis. Emmanuel says it gets tougher by the day. Kwesi Skiller says we've not started paying this amount yet. Eric said, Eish, Ghana de B keke.
Right, Joe is in East Legon. Hi, Joe. Good morning. Hello, Joe.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Host.
Good morning, Mr. Joe. So what's on your mind?
This is the first time I'm calling in Joy FM.
That's wonderful. Welcome to the family.
Yeah. Thank you. I think that the drivers are right in increasing their fares. Because when you look at the way the fuel prices have been going up, and nobody is doing anything about it. Everything in the country is going up, and nobody is saying anything about it. I think it will be fair for us to help them. If we are going to agitate for things to come down, then we should do so. But then to attack them for increasing their fare, I don't think we are being fair, because the country, everyone knows the country is hard. But I want to ask this question, because there has been this argument about when this fix the country argument arises, and people were talking about fuel prices and all that. I want to find out. It's not a political show, but let me find out. When the NDC government established the stabilization fund to cushion the fluctuation in prices, fuel prices, that anytime there's an increase, they will take money from stabilization fund so that there wouldn't be price increase at the pump. What has happened to the stabilization fund? And if the government is listening in, is he not being wicked and insensitive? I think he's being very wicked. Somebody must tell this government something. And the media, I think, must rise up and ask him some questions. Because you just don't get up and increase petrol here and there. If they are going to do that, they should do that to themselves. Parliament, they are taking fuel for free. When the country is hard, then they should give us some freebies for the country to be stopping up. What is going on?
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for calling us. Facebook has also been talking about this, haven't they?
Indeed, they have. Okay, well, Emmanuel Awuja says, my brother, it's very annoying and it's very unacceptable. Each day the economy is getting difficult. Why? Daniel said, is increasing TNT part of fixing the country? I read this one earlier. Some of us will start to use foot wagons. I have some more from Twitter. I'm just going to get...
Hold on a moment. We'll come to the tweets in a second. Echo is in Cape
Right.
Coast. Good morning, Echo.
Hello, good morning. I have something like saying no comment, but my comment is no comment because this country at the moment, everybody is doing as they please. Everybody does as they please. Everybody is increasing prices left, right, center. So the trotro drivers are also doing same. Let's fix that. Thank you.
Thank you, Echo. Right. Those tweets.
Okay. Nyavo John says this 20% increase, is it a percentage that has been agreed to by the parties involved in the negotiation, or yes, there should be some increase, but not this percentage, or else it will cripple the ordinary man on the streets. Remember, the hashtag is hashtag Joy SMS.
Okay. Coming up. In 2017, the president appointed a national security liaison officer for the Ashanti region. Members of the Delta forces went to pull him out of his office, manhandled him, threw him down the stairs, and ended up arrested and arraigned. Well, guess what? Their colleagues stormed the courtroom and freed them, committing sacrilege against our judiciary. Well, in the end, they were all gathered and given some custodial sentences of a few months. That was it. That was the sum total of the outcome. Well, it's now 2021. Again, months after the president has been sworn in, he has appointed a national security liaison officer for the Ashanti region, and the Delta forces have stormed his office again, beaten him with the butt of a rifle, held him at gunpoint, and declared, while handcuffing him, that they are sending him to Accra, to the National Security Secretariat in Accra, and that they are acting on orders of the National Security Coordinator. So now it's moved from a group of lawless men storming an office to manhandle a presidential appointee, to a group of lawless men storming an office to manhandle a presidential appointee, claiming to do so under the orders of national security, which is headed by
the National Security Minister, which is Albert Kandapa.
Actually, National Security Council is headed by the president.
The president, yes, of course.
So what kind of a circle are we drawing here? And who are the victims caught in the center of it? Today we'll talk about that. We'll hear from people who have been manhandled by national security. But we're also going to interrogate this issue of the Ashanti region and why a group of people who we were told are disbanded are actually now involved in Galamsey, reportedly unhappy with the presidential appointee who doesn't want to join them. And as a result, are removing him with which power? When we return.
It's a new day.
All it takes is one bad event to affect the things that are of value to you. That home you've built, the business that was bred from years of your hard work, or even that dream car that you finally call your own. But with one bank, you can conveniently protect your properties against future financial losses. So be rest assured knowing your properties are protected